Manipulators are hunters. They don't attack with fists or weapons, they attack with words, silence, guilt, and control. They smile while they pull the strings, making you question yourself, doubt your worth, and hand over your power without even realizing it. Their strategy is simple: make you feel small so they can feel big, confuse you so they can control you, and twist reality so they can dominate it. But here's the truth: manipulators only succeed when you don't see the game. And once you see the game, you win it. Today, I'm here to tell every woman listening, you don't play their game, you end it. You don't bow, you rise. You don't ask for fairness, you take back control. The most dangerous move a manipulator makes is not when they openly attack, it's when they quietly slide into your blind spot. Manipulation is subtle by design. It doesn't come with flashing lights, warning bells, or alarms. It comes dressed up as charm, as care, as reason. It hides behind fake smiles, soft voices, and "I'm just trying to help." And this is why so many people, especially women, get caught off guard, because they don't recognize the game until they're already tangled in it. Spotting the game early is your first line of defense, and it is also your most powerful weapon. Think about it. A chess master doesn't win because they move the pieces faster. They win because they see the board differently. They predict the play before it happens. That's exactly how you must treat manipulators. You can't afford to live in denial, to pretend that people always mean well. You must sharpen your perception. You must learn to read between the lines, to recognize the moment when words aren't just words, but weapons disguised as conversation. How do you spot it? Start by noticing patterns. Manipulators rarely come at you directly. They come at you sideways. They twist your words so that you end up defending yourself against things you never said. You might say, "I'm tired, I need space." They'll answer, "Oh, so you don't care about me anymore? You're just selfish." That's not conversation, that's control. Spot it. Call it what it is: guilt tripping. Another tactic? Gaslighting. This is when they deliberately distort your reality until you begin to question your own memory, your own judgment, even your own sanity. You tell them, "You said you would handle this." They smirk, "No, I never said that. You must be imagining things." Or worse, "You're too sensitive. You always overreact." Understand this. If someone consistently makes you doubt what you clearly know, that's not you being crazy. That's them running a playbook. Spot it. That's the game. Then there's the puppet master's silence. Manipulators know silence can cut deeper than words. They withhold communication, affection, or validation, making you chase after it. Suddenly you're asking, "What's wrong? Did I upset you? Are you mad at me?" They win when you start performing to earn back their approval. Spot it. That's emotional starvation, and it's intentional. Once you start studying these patterns, you'll notice they all follow the same blueprint: destabilize you so they can control you. The truth is, manipulators are not creative. They're predictable. They recycle the same tired tactics again and again because these tactics work until someone finally sees the play. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and once you can't unsee it, you can never be fooled again. Now here's where it gets tactical. Don't just recognize the tactic, name it. Out loud if you have to. If someone is guilt-tripping you, respond calmly. "That sounds like guilt, not accountability." If someone is gaslighting you, say, "No, I know what I heard and I trust myself." You don't have to fight. You don't have to scream. You just shine a light on the strategy. And manipulators hate light because it exposes the trick. The earlier you spot the game, the less damage it can do. Imagine a fisherman trying to hook you. If you bite, you're stuck fighting the pull. But if you see the bait for what it is, you don't even open your mouth. That's how you win. No hook, no fight, no struggle. Women especially must master this skill because society often conditions you to ignore red flags. You're told, "Don't be so harsh. Maybe you misunderstood. Give them another chance." But let me tell you something. Manipulators don't need chances. They don't need your sympathy. They need consequences. And the consequence begins with you seeing through them before they get a hold of you. Here's the fearless truth. Spotting manipulation is not about being paranoid. It's about being prepared. It's about sharpening your mind so much that no one can sneak their hands on the steering wheel of your life. The more quickly you spot the game, the faster you cut it off, and the stronger you stand in your power. Because let's be real, manipulators only win when you don't recognize the game. Once you do, it's checkmate. If there's one weapon women are born with that manipulators fear the most, it's intuition. That deep, inner radar that goes off before your mind even has the words to explain why. You know it. That tightening in your chest. That whisper that says something doesn't add up. Too often, women ignore it. Why? Because society trains you to doubt yourself. From the time you're young, you're told, don't overthink. Don't be dramatic. Don't be so sensitive. And manipulators take full advantage of that conditioning. They count on you second-guessing your own instincts. They know if they can make you distrust yourself, they can control you. But let's be absolutely clear. Your gut is not weakness. It is your alarm system. It's your body's built-in intelligence shaped by years of experiences, microsignals, and subconscious cues. Studies in psychology and neuroscience prove it. Your intuition processes information faster than conscious reasoning. That sudden discomfort you feel when someone lies, that's your subconscious reading their microexpressions, tone, and body language long before your conscious mind connects the dots. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition, and when you dismiss it, you walk blind into traps that your body already warned you about. Think back to the times you ignored your gut. Maybe you sensed a coworker was undermining you but gave them the benefit of the doubt, only to find out later they were sabotaging your work. Maybe you knew a relationship was off, but you silenced that inner voice until the betrayal became undeniable. Every woman has those stories, and if you're honest, you knew. You always knew. You just talked yourself out of it. That ends today. Because trusting your gut isn't about being nice, it's about being safe. It's about being powerful. It's about refusing to hand your inner compass to someone else. Let's get tactical. How do you start honoring your intuition instead of silencing it? First, stop apologizing for it. If you feel uneasy about someone, you don't owe them justification. You don't have to explain, I just have a bad feeling. Your instinct is enough. If something feels off, you take action. You create distance. You set a boundary. You don't wait for proof while giving them room to do damage. Your gut is your proof. Second, practice noticing the signals. Intuition often shows up physically, a knot in your stomach, tension in your shoulders, a sudden wave of fatigue when someone enters the room. Pay attention to those signals. Your body speaks louder than your thoughts sometimes, and it doesn't lie. Manipulators can fake words, but they cannot override the way your nervous system reacts to them. Third, combine intuition with observation. Trusting your gut doesn't mean throwing logic away. It means letting your instincts guide where to focus your attention. If you feel uneasy around someone, look for the evidence. How do they respond under pressure? Do their words match their actions? Do they dismiss your boundaries or make you question yourself? More often than not, your gut pointed you to the truth before you consciously saw it. Now here's the hard part. Manipulators will always try to disarm your intuition. They'll say, you're imagining things, you're too emotional, you always overreact. Recognize this for what it is: deflection. They're not disproving your instincts. They're trying to disable your radar so you don't call them out. Never let them. When someone attacks your intuition, it's often the clearest sign you're right. I'll give you a simple but powerful tactic. When your gut speaks, say it out loud. Not necessarily to them, but to yourself. Name it. This feels wrong. Something about this doesn't add up. When you name the instinct, you anchor it in reality, and once anchored, it becomes harder to dismiss or let others dismiss for you. This is where women reclaim their edge. Manipulators rely on the fact that most people need external validation before they trust themselves. But when you decide your inner voice is the authority, you no longer need anyone else's approval. You become unshakable. Because here's the fearless truth. No one knows what's best for you more than you do. Not a boss, not a partner, not a friend. You. And when you fully trust your gut, manipulators lose their strongest weapon: your doubt. They can no longer twist your reality because you refuse to outsource your perception. They can no longer control you because you refuse to hand them the wheel. Remember this. Your intuition has been protecting women for generations. It has saved lives, ended toxic relationships, and exposed lies long before evidence caught up. It is not mystical. It is tactical. It is your superpower, and the more you trust it, the less anyone can play you. So here's the question I'll leave you with in this keynote. The next time your gut speaks, will you silence it because someone told you to be nice? Or will you honor it like the shield and sword it truly is? Because the women who win, the women who outsmart manipulators, are the ones who never ever doubt their own instincts. Manipulators thrive on reaction. Understand this. Their greatest weapon is not their words, not their silence, not even their lies. It's your emotional response. The moment you flinch, defend yourself, raise your voice, or collapse into doubt, they win. Because what do manipulators want most? Control. And the fastest way to control someone is to pull on their emotions like strings. Think about it. When someone guilt trips you, they're not giving you logic, they're pushing your shame button. When they gaslight you, they're not making sense, they're shaking your confidence until you crumble. When they give you the silent treatment, they're not resolving anything, they're starving you of validation until you break first. Every tactic they use is designed to get you to react emotionally. Why? Because when you're emotional, you're no longer strategic. You're defending, explaining, apologizing, chasing. And in that state, you hand them control without even realizing it. That's why detachment is your secret weapon. Emotional detachment does not mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're cold or heartless. It means you refuse to give manipulators the fuel they need to run their game. It means you maintain control of yourself at all times, no matter how hard they push. Picture this. A manipulator comes at you with accusations. You never support me. You're so selfish. You're always wrong. Most people respond with fire. They raise their voice. They say, "No, I do support you. Let me explain. Let me prove I'm not selfish." That's the trap, because now you're dancing to their music, defending yourself in a game they created. But if you detach, if you look them straight in the eye, calm and unbothered, and say nothing, or if you respond with a simple, measured statement like, "That's your perspective?" Suddenly the game collapses. Why? Because manipulators don't know what to do when their buttons don't work. Here's the psychology. Manipulators are addicted to control. They live off reaction because reaction proves their tactics are working. But when you give them nothing, no raised voice, no tears, no frantic explanations, they starve. And when you starve them, they shrink. Detachment is how you starve the beast. So how do you practice it? First, learn to pause. When someone throws a manipulative comment your way, don't react instantly. Breathe. Give yourself a 3-second buffer before you say anything. That pause is power. It shifts the control back to you because now you're choosing your response instead of giving them the reaction they wanted. Second, control your body language. Manipulators read you like a book. If your shoulders tense, if your eyes dart, if your tone rises, they know they've got you. Instead, train yourself to stay neutral. Keep your posture strong, keep your face calm, lower your voice instead of raising it. Remember this, calmness is dominance. The quieter and steadier you are, the more power you project. Third, use detachment phrases. These are responses that shut down manipulation without giving away emotion. Phrases like, "I see what you're trying to do. That's your opinion. We'll have to agree to disagree. I'm not engaging in this." Short, firm, and emotionless. These statements end the game because they don't feed the fire, they extinguish it. Now, let's talk about why women specifically must master detachment. Too often, women are conditioned to respond emotionally in order to prove they care, to defend their integrity, to show they're good. But manipulators weaponize that conditioning. They know you'll try to prove yourself, so they keep accusing until you're drained. Detachment flips the script. It says, "I don't need to prove anything to you. My calm is proof enough." Here's the fearless truth. Detachment makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability makes you powerful. Manipulators script their games around your expected reactions. They know if they accuse you, you'll defend. If they guilt you, you'll explain. If they go silent, you'll chase. But when you detach, their script fails. They don't know what to do with silence, composure, and stillness. That's when they lose control and you take it back. I want you to think of yourself as a fortress. A fortress doesn't panic when someone throws stones at its walls. A fortress stands solid, unmoved, unbroken. Detachment builds those walls around your emotions. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't hand those feelings over to someone who wants to use them against you. And here's the challenge I leave with you. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, will you give them the reaction they crave? Or will you stand in calm, fearless silence and watch their game collapse under its own weight? Because the woman who detaches emotionally is the woman no manipulator can control. Manipulators survive by setting the rules of the game. They create the stage, hand you a script, and expect you to play the role they've assigned you. The guilty one, the apologizer, the over-explainer, the rescuer. And most people play along without even realizing it. But here's the truth. You don't have to play their game. You can turn their tactics back on them and reclaim the power they thought they had. This isn't about fighting dirty. This is about refusing to play defense for the rest of your life. Because defense alone doesn't win wars, strategy does. If spotting the game early is your radar and detachment is your shield, then flipping the power dynamic is your sword. It's how you go from being the one controlled to the one in control. Let's break it down. When a manipulator gaslights you, they want you to question your reality. They say, "I never said that. You're imagining things." The average person scrambles, tries to recall every detail, starts defending. That's what they want, you trapped in self-doubt. But when you flip it, you don't defend. You stand firm and calmly say, "I know what I heard, and I trust myself." Notice what just happened. Instead of accepting their frame, that you're confused, you set a new frame, that you are confident, unshakable, and not open to debate. When a manipulator guilt trips you, "After all I've done for you, you're really going to say no?" The goal is to trap you in obligation. They want you to bend because you feel guilty. But here's the counter. Flip guilt into exposure. Respond with, "I don't make decisions based on guilt. If you have to manipulate me, maybe the request isn't fair." You've now reframed the moment. Instead of you being on the defensive, they're exposed as the one playing dirty. And what about when manipulators play the victim? This one is common. Suddenly, no matter what happens, they're always the one suffering, the one mistreated, the one misunderstood. They weaponize pity. But when you flip the dynamic, you refuse to rescue. You respond with calm acknowledgement, but no surrender. "I hear you, but I'm not responsible for your feelings." Simple, firm, and direct. You deny them the savior-victim cycle they rely on. The real power in flipping dynamics is that it forces manipulators to face themselves. When you don't step into the role they assign you, they're stuck holding a mirror they don't want to see. And most manipulators crumble when faced with their own tactics. Here's a tactical mindset shift. Stop reacting as if you're under their control and start acting as if you're running the interaction. For example, instead of answering their loaded questions directly, "Why are you always so difficult?" you redirect. Say, "Interesting question. Why do you think that's true?" Now they are the ones scrambling to explain, you just flip the script. Another powerful way to flip the dynamic is by using silence. Most manipulators rely on rapid-fire tactics, throwing accusations, twisting logic, flooding you with words until you break. When you respond with stillness, with silence, with calm eye contact, they lose footing. Suddenly it's their words hanging heavy in the air, their accusations echoing back at them. Silence is not weakness, silence is pressure. And when you hold it with composure, it makes them reveal more than they wanted. Now, some of you might think, but isn't fighting back too harsh? No. What's harsh is allowing someone to steal your peace, rewrite your truth, and strip away your confidence, day after day. What's harsh is sacrificing your self-worth to keep manipulators comfortable. Flipping the dynamic is not about cruelty, it's about balance. It's about refusing to let someone dictate your reality. It's about stepping into your authority and saying, I decide how this conversation goes. I decide what role I play, and I refuse to play the fool. Here's the fearless truth. Manipulators are only as powerful as the scripts you agree to. The moment you flip the dynamic, when you stop defending and start dictating, they're no longer in charge, you are. And the shift is not just in the conversation, it's in you. You walk taller. You speak with authority. You stop begging for respect and start commanding it. So I'll leave you with this question. When someone tries to pull the strings, will you keep dancing to their music? Or will you cut the cords, flip the stage, and make them face the power of a woman who refuses to be played? Because the moment you flip the dynamic, the game doesn't just change, it ends. There is one move more powerful than any comeback, any counterattack, any strategic silence, and that is walking away. Walking away is not surrender. Walking away is not weakness. Walking away is the ultimate declaration of strength. It says, I refuse to waste my power in a rigged game. Manipulators want you trapped. They want you circling the drain of endless arguments, rehearsing your defenses, replaying conversations in your head at night. Why? Because as long as you're trapped in their orbit, they win. You're still responding, still explaining, still performing. And manipulators don't care if the attention is negative. To them, any attention means they're still controlling the game. That's why walking away is the move they fear most, because it cuts off their oxygen. It says, your tactics don't work here anymore. I'm done. And when you do it without guilt, without apology, without hesitation, that's when you step into unshakable power. Let's get tactical. How do you know it's time to walk away? 3 signals. First, repetition. If you find yourself explaining the same boundary over and over, and they continue to ignore it, you're not in a conversation. You're in a loop. Manipulators thrive on loops. They'll drain you until you collapse. When you see repetition, that's your red flag. Time to cut the cord. Second, escalation. If every time you hold your ground, they raise the stakes. Louder accusations, harsher guilt trips, deeper gaslighting. That's not compromise. That's warfare. Manipulators don't escalate because they care. They escalate because they're losing control. That's when you stop engaging and start leaving. Third, depletion. Ask yourself, after interacting with this person, do you feel stronger or weaker? Empowered or drained? If you consistently feel empty, second-guessing yourself, or carrying their weight, then understand this. You're not in a relationship, you're in a power drain. And no woman with a vision, with purpose, with self-respect, has the luxury of staying where she is constantly depleted. Now here's where most women get stuck. Guilt. You've been conditioned to believe that leaving is betrayal, that saying no more means you're selfish, that walking away means you didn't try hard enough. Manipulators weaponize that conditioning. They'll say, so you're just gonna leave me after everything I've done for you? Or you're abandoning me, or the classic, you'll regret this. But hear me clearly, guilt is the leash they use to keep you tethered. Cut it. Walking away is not betrayal, it's protection. It's self-preservation. It's honoring your worth. When you stay trapped out of guilt, you're not saving anyone. You're destroying yourself. And a destroyed woman cannot lead, cannot grow, cannot live free. Here's the fearless reframe. Walking away is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of the chapter where you write your own rules. And you don't need permission to leave. You don't need their approval to choose peace. You don't need to justify it with 100 explanations. One simple truth is enough. This doesn't serve me anymore. Let's get practical. When you walk away, don't announce it with drama. Manipulators feed on theatrics. Don't send a 6-page letter. Don't outline every reason why. Don't give them more material to twist. Instead, walk out with clarity and finality. Say less, mean more. A calm, steady statement like, this dynamic doesn't work for me anymore. I'm moving on. Then leave. No debate, no revisiting, no circling back. And most importantly, do it without guilt. Because guilt will whisper, Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should give them one more chance. No, manipulators don't need more chances. They had their chances, and they used them to control, diminish, and twist. Walking away without guilt means you finally trust yourself more than their manipulation. Understand this. Walking away is the move that shifts everything. It creates space for clarity, for healing, for strength. It reminds you that peace is a choice you get to make. And it shows every manipulator, every toxic presence in your life, that they do not own you. So the question is not, will walking away hurt them? The real question is, will staying here keep hurting me? And if the answer is yes, you already know what to do. Because the woman who walks away without guilt is not running from weakness. She's walking into freedom. And nothing terrifies a manipulator more than a woman who no longer plays, no longer explains, no longer bends, but simply leaves. Crown intact, power unshaken.